Alright, this is gonna be the first and last video I make on this whole entire Kitae versus gun topic. After this, I just not gonna respond nor read your comments. Now, for the first part with Born, Jerry, and Vosco, this immediately proves to me you don't even listen to a single thing I said in the video. That or you just lack common sense. Because when I talk about the Daniel versus gun topic, the entire point of it was to point out that gun, for Daniel, someone who is stronger than Jerry, Juan, and Vosco. Vosco is slightly weaker than Daniel, but Jerry and Juan is weaker than Daniel. But yet, Jerry made gun use his endurance mastery. Juan and Jerry made gun use his endurance mastery again. Meanwhile, Daniel, who is stronger than both Jerry and Juan, wasn't even capable of making him use his endurance mastery, because the difference between their fight was that Gun took Daniel seriously and kept up his guard. Jerry, Juan, and all the other second generations, Daniel Gun did not respect it, so he didn't keep up his guard and he just entertained himself by using whatever ability or whatever martial art he really wanted to for his own fun. And to furthermore back up my point, when Good questions Gun about what happened to his body, all Gun says is life is all about consequences, directly confirming if he had took them seriously, he would have never wound up in this state. But we know from Gun's character he is a masochist who enjoys pain and fighting, which is why he allows this to happen. And the reason why I bring up Kitae vs Sinu is when Kitae was off guard because he saw Jake, Sinu was actually capable of bruising him. Sinu should be weaker than Hunt for Gun ally, let alone the current ally that we have. And you went ahead and already confirmed to me that you don't read the series by bringing up the fact that Daniel copied Jin Rang's fighting style and it had no effect, because if you read the Hunt for Gun, it was already stated that copies cannot actually match the original. Which Jinran goes ahead and confirms to Daniel that yeah, he is strong and he can fight, but he copied Jinran's attack, which has a certain essence to it that Daniel's copy didn't have. The same thing he did with Tesu's Ultimate Fist. It didn't have the essence of what made the Ultimate Fist powerful. But when Daniel goes ahead and fights Jae Young, someone who Jinran couldn't even react to, Daniel now only makes Jae Young realize that if any of the members of Ally was around during the second generation, then would even during the first generation, then would even qualify as first gen kings. And the reason why Daniel performed as well as he did was because he used Yamazaki style Kyokushin karate, which is a style he mastered and is basically his because he didn't really copy it, he was taught it by Gun. So this is his fighting style. And Jinran saw Daniel and Allied fight and realizes that they could have taken down his crew at any point that they wanted, they just choose not to. Which is why Daniel, when Jinran threatens him and says he's going to hunt them down even if they help them out, Daniel doesn't care because he knows Jinran is not going to be a threat to him or his crew. On to the next part of a comment with Kitae just preferring to dodge, which is such a small brain argument. Because he takes everyone else's attacks and just eats it, not taking a lick of damage. But when Daniel fights him, he dodges every one of Daniel's attacks while noting he is the fastest, strongest, and most skilled character in the entire battlefield. And your only debunk to that is he just preferred to dodge, instead of just acknowledging the fact that Daniel would have damaged him. And with Jake's conviction and punch, like I keep saying, it means nothing because if he was on guard and taking them seriously, it wouldn't have done anything. No, the reason why I bring up Daniel versus Gun wasn't to say that Kitae couldn't beat Daniel. Kitae can obviously beat Daniel. Daniel would damage him, but Kitae can obviously beat Daniel. The reason why I bring it up was to actually point out the fact that this guy wasn't capable of really taking the upper hand against Gun until he got physically weaker than him. Which is important because this guy who is fighting Gun at full power is currently stronger than every member of Allied. Current Allied, by the way. And while Gun was on death's door, he only won because he prolonged the fight and Gun eventually got weaker than him to the point where he could actually win.